We still got plenty more demos left to go through from my Best of Next Fest February 2024 edition. So without further ado, let's take a look at the latest roundup of some of my favorite and more interesting demos we played from the event. We are beginning with Aeruta. I'm pretty sure I butchered that name. This is an action roguelike meets bakery shop sim. We play as a hero in training who, on the day of her final mission, accidentally breaks the oven of the most adorable baker in the land. In order to make it up to them, they decide to become their helper slash ingredient getter slash register lady slash beating up enemies in the forest employee. Your job is to explore the varying areas to earn money and resources you need while completing the quest to become the hero you were always meant to be. The level design here is built on you choosing from various nodes on kind of the node map, with them having different events in them. You must kill the enemies, and enemies defeated will drop ingredients that you can use to bake more bread. Once you kind of finish an area off, you start the next day, and similar to that of Racketeer, you'll need to balance bread baking with bad guy beating as the game goes on. The shop sim aspect of it is kind of reminiscent of that of Dave the Diver, in that each time you go to kind of run the bakery, you'll decide which bread to make from the collection of ingredients that you have, and you want to have enough bread to earn as much money as you can from the various people who will come in. Upgrades that we didn't get a chance to see in the demo but were talked about on the store page include allowing you to upgrade your recipe so that it'll be worth more money, improve your shop, get new weapons, buffs, and all that good stuff. I like the art style, and the aesthetics are definitely going for like a very cute look, especially some of the animation details. Now, unfortunately, as I said, we didn't get a chance to see too far into the shop sim side of things, but there is certainly going to be something here if you're a fan of the Racketeer style, but looking for more action roguelite rather than dungeon crawler in your life. And if you enjoy all varieties of bread, then that is obviously a bonus for you. We switch from cute and wholesome to very raunchy with Zet Zillions. This is a deck building roguelike where we are a spaceship or planet, it's kind of hard to tell, holding the remnants of humanity as just a bunch of meat puppets. And we're trying to find a new home for them while a universe-destroying creature is trailing us. And we're going to deal with a whole lot of weirdness in the universe if we're going to save what's left of humanity. The deck building in this one is a little bit different compared to some of the other ones that we've played. You have cards that can either do damage or launch the different like human clones at enemies. If you hit an enemy with enough clones to fill up the kind of bar above their health, it will stun them for a turn. You also have attacks and cards that proc based off the number of humans that are stuck to that character. You can also fuse cards to either activate a secondary effect or give yourself a new card that does not cost you energy to do that kind of fusion. So this one is kind of trying to do a little bit more rule breaking in terms of its deck building design, as not only will you need to get good cards, we also want cards that can merge so you can then play more on an individual battle. As you'll go through, you'll also have to complete challenges, which will give you bonuses for the remainder of the run. From what we played of this one, it is going to be a little bit on the longer side. I don't know how long an actual run is going to be, but we played this for about, I think, like 30-40 minutes just to get to the end of the first act. My main concern with this one is that it is a little bit weird to use these cards. This is not the same kind of strategies and synergies we would see out of Slay the Spire or some of the other deck builders. You have to be a little bit more kind of thinking a step or two in advance in terms of what cards you use, and especially how you use your fusions and throwing your meat puppets at everything. And as I said, this one is going for more cruder jokes and atmosphere, so if that kind of stuff offends you, you may not want to play this. But I still enjoyed this. And if you're a fan of deck builders, looking for one that's going to kind of throw you for a loop with its rule set and card designs, then you should check this one out. And now we turn to Four Blasters. This is kind of like an arcade style, not quite sure they're going for a roguelite or just more arcade. But either way, we are drilling into procedurally generated areas looking for gems, gold, and more to uncover. Our ship has a limited fuel and we must reach the treasure at the bottom as quickly as we can while trying not to bang into anything along the way. Your ship also has a special move that kind of gives you super dash powers. As the game goes on, you'll have to deal with additional threats, additional biomes, and you'll need to upgrade your ship to give it more damage, more speed, health, and all that good stuff. The game is kind of going for, again, like that arcade, just one more turn, just one more level kind of feel to it. I'm not 100% sure how things work in terms of the campaign structure. We had to choose from different levels, and I think this may just be survive for as long as you can style of game, but there is certainly something engaging here about the digging with the upgrades and the persistence. It reminds me of a few of the other like dig-based games we've played in the past. So if you're looking for a game that is very charming to play and has, again, that one more turn feel to it, then you should give this one a check. And now up is Doodle Adventure of Chameleon. This is a 2D platformer where we play as a doodle that has been brought to life by a child. And we're going to go on a fun and whimsical adventure through the land of graph paper, sketches, and more. The general physics and design of this is that your chameleon can change colors. Whatever color they are currently at, the platforms become solid and interactable. When you switch colors, they'll become intangible and allow you to go through them, and this will be, of course, set up for multiple obstacles and challenges. In each area, you'll also find apples, which apparently chameleons really love, and these are kind of like your bonus reward or bonus challenge. This game is definitely going for more on the casual, kind of younger audience side. If you're hoping for like super difficult platforming, precision based like that, I don't think this game is going to work for you. The level design does go in a variety of means, and I enjoyed this one. Again, not going to be the one for like a super challenging time, unless you really want to go for all apples, but this certainly looks like it's going to be a very charming platformer for either someone looking for like a good first time game, or if you're looking for like one that you can easily just relax and zone out to. We now switch over to Pampas and Selene, the Maze of Demons. This is a modern retro Metroidvania from the developer of Unepic and Unmetal. In this one, we play as the duo, who are trying to save their kingdom from evil by invading the demon's castle and using the power of the gods to help them. In this one, you can play it co-op if you would like, but you can also play it single player, swapping between the two. Each character has different rules and properties for how they behave. Selene has more range-based attacks and can be better underwater, while Pampas takes less damage and is stronger in melee. As you explore, you'll unlock quests and upgrades for both characters, giving them additional properties, additional moves, etc. And the game is going for, again, like the Metroidvania charm. This is not, at least from what we played, going to be as brain melting in terms of its puzzles and exploration as, say, a La Mulana. But there is certainly a lot here if you're looking for a modern retro take on the genre that just feels really good to play. We went through the entire demo. The bosses are going to be on the challenging side, especially if you try to beat them without the necessary upgrades. But this is going to be one of those games where there's going to be a lot of secrets to uncover, lots of upgrades and quests to do. And if you're enjoying Metroidvanias either solo or with a buddy, then you should definitely check this one out. We switch from casual platforming to some very hardcore with Ingression. This is a kind of Celeste or obstacle-based platforming game, where you control characters who must use the powers of portals and time manipulation in order to save the past, present, future, and any other time zones that one can picture. The kind of twist is that you have these kinds of dimensional portals. When you go through them, similar to that in Portal, your physics and momentum will be carried through. Wherever portals are set up, it will also shift and reorient the camera as you get through them. One of the characters gets a kind of grapple hook that allows them to launch themselves in a given direction based on where they are in relation to the grapple point. And there's of course the story as you learn more about how things get very twisted with time and space as things go about. All this sounds good on paper, but the game has a few kind of fatal flaws in it, at least in the demo that we played. The first thing has to do with the camera and the reorientation. This is not the same as other games where when you go through anything that kind of changes your direction or your orientation, the camera remains the same and the character is the only one that's kind of shifting. Here, the camera will shift, and it will sometimes do like a 90 degree or 180 degree shift in terms of where that portal is. The problem is that it makes it almost impossible on reaction to know where and how far you're going to shoot out of a portal as you're going through it. And this will lead to a lot of deaths, as you'll need to kind of change or kind of do micro or massive adjustments as you come in and out of any portal. Being able to maybe like slow things down by like half a second or provide the player with a little bit better guidance would have done a lot in that regard. This is also compounded when you get to the grapple sections. You see, the game uses simulated physics for how you grapple and how your character moves in and out of portals. So if you approach a grapple from the wrong angle, you will hit that portal not with the correct velocity needed to kind of launch yourself through it, and you'll end up undershooting where your target is. This leads to this game being far more jankier in terms of its platforming design than what we usually see from the genre. And it is a shame because the story is very interesting, the game is clearly doing some very different things with its level design. But it's these issues that can really sink any kind of platformer, let alone one that's already meant to be on the difficult side. If they can make things a little bit easier in terms of clarity and moving through these levels, this could be another very great platformer for someone who's looking for a lot of challenge with their jumps. But as it stands right now, this is definitely going to be one for someone who is not easily frustrated no matter what time period they may be in. We now have Pico Topia. This is a game in the kind of like casual city build card style, but with a more devious twist to it. Your mission is to keep building up a settlement by placing cards of various buildings, structures, land types, and more. The challenge is that every type of card that you play has an interaction or more than one interaction with other cards around it. This creates a resource surplus. If your resource surplus exceeds the amount of boxes you have at the top, which at this point is 6, you lose your run. As you keep playing cards down, this will unlock more cards, which will require you to then decide what to add to your deck in order to try and minimize the resource demand of everything else that's in there. And at the moment, you're just going to keep playing until you eventually run out of space or you hit that demand and you game over. I like the aesthetics of this one. It definitely has charm and coziness to it. The main issue that I have with this game is from a UX point of view. You see, the game does not tell you in any way, shape, or form, at least in the demo, what are the potential interactions with other cards. And that is a very important detail, because if you don't know that playing campfire sites without forests or trees around to kind of block it, you're going to end up losing very quickly. And picking the wrong card reward on level up can easily ruin your run as well, and it leads to a lot of forced trial and error in order to figure out how to properly build your deck over each play. Other than that, this looks like it's going to be a very charming game, and one for someone who's looking for a very pick up and play take on city building and I guess card games as well. We now go to one game that is not about being cozy and charming and wholesome, and that is Ritual. This is a kind of idol meets tower defense cultist simulator. When something horrible has happened to us, we have decided to, well, summon the god of death to take revenge on, well, literally everyone around us. So we have locked ourselves up in the abandoned chapel, and we are performing a ritual. Unfortunately, those annoying villagers are going to come and investigate and try and stop us. And we're going to do our damnedest to get this ritual going. The gameplay here is built on you matching symbols that will earn you energy. The different color of symbols, or the different color symbols, will relate to different magical energies. This will essentially affect and power different abilities. So Purple Arcana is kind of your main progression one. This will unlock additional features, additional powers, creatures who can help you, and more elaborate symbols, which will grant you more energy, which, again, more energy means that you'll be able to do more faster or more effective in the world. As you level up, you'll decide from other color symbols or other color arcana that can influence or do other things. Red is more offensively minded, and as you power up your red, you'll be able to activate more offensive attacks, such as creating an entire bed of spikes that prevents people from getting to you. So the game itself is both very passive in that a lot of it is handled automatically for you, yet still very active and chaotic as you need to draw these symbols as fast as you can in order to build up enough arcana to unlock essential upgrades or power your attacks and minions to defend yourself. If the villagers break through your door, it is game over. I don't know if from the demo this is going to be set up as kind of like a roguelike progression or run base, or there's an actual campaign structure, and maybe there's more rituals to perform, and etc, etc. But I really enjoy this one. It's a very clever take on the kind of tower defense idols symbol design. It looks like it's going to be on the challenging side as well, as you're going to have to be balancing many different plates, and by plates I mean murder and symbol summoning. So if you're looking for a darker take on these designs, and if you're really good at multitasking, then this is a definite pick and one you should check out. And for the last game of today's episode, this is Plushie From the Sky. And with that name, I'm sure you can tell exactly what this game is. This is a Souls-like Metroidvania. No, I'm not kidding. In this one, we play as an adorable angel who, with their plushie, has apparently fallen into, I think, either Earth or Hell. And in order to get out, she must go up. And while going up, she will have to beat up any monsters that get in her way, find little helpers to give her special attacks, and even more plushies for more abilities and combat. This one is definitely on the unusual side. It feels more like a third-person action platformer And then kind of like a Souls-like second. You have your stamina gauge. You'll be able to level up and apply different stat points to your attributes, such as allowing your plushie attacks to do more damage, recover stamina faster, etc, etc. But you also will need to dive, jump, hover, flutter, and look around for all manner of things to aid you. Combat is okay. It's a little bit on the floaty side, no pun intended with our cute little character here. But it did feel relatively good to play. It is still a little funky in spots. You can get stun lock if you get hit by enough enemies at one time. But this one is certainly going for variety, not only in world and level design, but in the enemies that you fight, including the surprisingly interesting boss fight that we had in the demo. I don't know there's going to be additional like powers and upgrades in the main game. We kind of got a lot of basic and important movement tech right at the start. But this one definitely has some charm to it. If you're looking for a more platformy or actiony take on the Souls-like, and don't mind a little bit of weirdness here and there, then this could be an adorable take on the genre for you to check out. And with that, we are done with another episode of our Best of Next Fest series. You'll find links to all the games down below. Let me know if you have a game you want me to check out in the future, and we are still not even close to being done. So come back real soon for our next part. That's going to do it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to do the YouTubing stuff people tell you to do. If you're interested in more of my thoughts on design, check out my books wherever they are sold. Visit our Discord and Patreon, and come back for daily discussions on game design here, and on game wisdom, where you some of the art and science of games.